This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy to see if you could save when you bundle your home and auto policies. Try it at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
AI agents are everywhere, automating tasks and making decisions at machine speed. But agents make mistakes. Just one rogue agent can do big damage before you even notice. Rubrik Agent Cloud is the only platform that helps you monitor agents, set guardrails, and rewind mistakes, so you can unleash agents, not risk. Accelerate your AI transformation at Rubrik.com. That's RUBRIK.com.
When is the point that we need to go and get our voice checked?
If you feel a hoarseness or a pain or just a change of the voice, you need to go and see a doctor like myself, and check it out, because not only the wrong use of voice can be the underlying cause, then maybe it's just camouflaged something else.
Hey, I'm Lisa Hugo, and I am obsessed with helping other people find their voices so they can go out and take on the world, be seen as an authority, an expert, and grow their business by sharing that knowledge and expertise with others. Now, I studied performing arts, and I spent 20 years of my career traveling the world as a professional singer-songwriter. I teach you the secrets to speak up and be heard, overcome your fears, and then use these skills to build a business and a life that you love and that could change both your own life and the lives of others. This is your one-stop shop for all things that are going to help you to build a life on your terms. This is Impact Through Voice. Welcome back to the Impact Through Voice podcast. I'm your host, Lisa Hugo, and today I'm in the studio with Dr. Marc Muller. Marc is an ear, nose, and throat specialist, an ENT specialist. So today I want to focus on speaking about the voice, and particularly this is going to be very interesting if you are a professional voice user. Now that could be a singer, it could be a teacher, or anybody who uses their voice a lot in their profession and maybe sometimes struggles with getting that voice out. And so we're going to talk about all of those things today. Let's just dive straight in. Welcome to the podcast, Marc.
Hello, Lisa. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, I've been really looking forward to this because, well, we've been knowing each other for many, many years and referring patients back and forth to each other based on, when I find things as a voice coach that I think need medical expertise. And when you find patients that need my expertise because they have overused, they're not using a proper technique. And
yeah, so that's true, actually. And most of the time, it's really not the proper technique to speak.
Yeah.
And the proper technique to speak is mainly due to the force or due to the power that we want to bring into our voice and to the intention to bring power.
Yes.
And so somebody intends to bring to have a powerful impact, to shout or to be heard, and then they make usually one major mistake, and that is that the major force is put into the voice box.
Exactly.
It is, we call it the larynx, and in the larynx we have these structures like the vocal cords. The vocal cords are acting like an instrument, like a music instrument.
Yep.
And now, if we wanted to have a strong sound coming out, we should actually blow more air through the instrument. And most of the people, they squeeze the vocal cords more together, and that makes a problem.
Because it prevents the vocal cords from vibrating in a natural way.
Correct.
And then they start to bang against each other. It's like hitting yourself and bruising yourself. And then they start to get swollen. And then people start to get symptoms. So let's just address this, because I think a lot of people feel this at points. I think everyone has felt the effects of overuse of the voice. Let's say you're in a nightclub, you're out at a bar and you've got lots of people talking around you. And so, as you said, you want to get more volume into your voice. And in doing that, you do it through the wrong
Yes.
method. So if somebody is feeling a vocal abuse, let's talk about what some of those symptoms might be so people will be recognizing them when they happen.
Well, in the beginning, it will be just pain. For example, I think the nightclub example is, for example, a good example. However, there are other influences as well. So maybe cigarette smoke or alcohol and loud music and so on. So if we spend many hours there, the next day we will have a pain in the throat.
Yeah.
But also the sound will be different. Maybe the vocal cords are so stressed that some phlegm is produced from the mucosa. The mucosa is basically the surface of the structure.
Of the vocal cords themselves.
Of the vocal cords. But the entire lining actually of the larynx, of the voice box, is called mucosa. And mucosa has already the word mucus in it. And mucus is obviously something that will then pile up and can additionally, let's say, settle on the vocal cords and disturb the clarity of this nice instrument that we have.
Does this mucus build up also as a protection for the vocal cords? Because you've just done all of this stressful activity. So the body says, I need to protect this instrument now.
Yeah, particularly there, of course, mucus is always our protection shield. Like we have, let's say, we have basically two linings. The outer lining is our skin, where we have squamous cells, and you can touch any dirt and you will not get the dirt inside. And in our inner lining, we have mucosa, which is consistent of sticky liquid. Yeah. And everything that comes inside will get stuck with it. And then the mucus is able to cough it out, for example. Yeah, so then mucus piles up and then it irritates the voice box, and then we have a cough and we spit it out, for example. Right. Yeah, or it just seals the mucosa in a way that nothing will pass through this jelly and will not enter for further damage or so. Because once, it's always like that, let's say you clap 2,000 times your hands and your palms will be red, obviously, then maybe your skin is very thin and very vulnerable there, yeah? And then the same with your vocal cords. They are then a little bit reddish maybe from shouting in the nightclub, and then maybe a little bit swollen also, and then the mucus will protect.
Okay. Now, we're talking about being in a nightclub just as an example, because I think everybody's had that kind of an experience where they wake up the next day and they feel their voice is very fatigued and perhaps a bit hoarse, and these symptoms that we're talking about. But this is not something which is only experienced in this particular setting, but this can be people who are using their voice professionally, or just anybody who's using their voice, but are using the voice incorrectly, as we talked about at the very beginning. And so where I'm going with this is these symptoms that you're talking about, they could become chronic, as in you're feeling it for a longer extended period. Going to a nightclub, you should be recovered after 2 or 3 days and feeling your voice is okay again. But when it starts to be persistent, when is the point that we need to go and get our voice checked?
So actually, like you say already, when it becomes persistent, the word chronic means everything that is longer than 2-3 months.
Okay.
Yeah? So before it is acute, so you wait maybe 2 months, and then if you're keeping this hoarseness, if you feel a hoarseness or a pain or just a change of the voice, you need to go and see a doctor like
someone
myself,
just like you.
and check it out, because not only the wrong use of voice can be the underlying cause, then maybe it's just camouflaged something else.
Yes.
Yeah. Especially when you're a smoker, or also with alcohol, or if your lifestyle is not really super healthy, you should expect to have, or you not should expect, but you should not be 100% sure that this is nothing. I would double check.
I would like to talk about some of these other causes which could be contributing to these symptoms. But when I have had to refer somebody to you, it's usually somebody who has come into my studio and they're struggling with a lot of mucus, clearing the throat a lot. They may have a break in the voice where they're trying to connect between their lower voice and their head voice, and the voice keeps cracking or breaking. And there is something on that middle line where you connect from chest to head, which is a certain point on the vocal cords which gets more swollen, and it prevents the vocal cords from having a solid connection. Correct me if I'm wrong here.
No, absolutely. But of course, I assume that you first also check if this is some break that they do, let's say like a habit to think or so. I don't know. There's obviously these reasons, but if this is not the underlying cause, I would probably think that if somebody constantly needs to clear their throat, that there is something irritating.
Yes.
I think very interesting to know is that, let's say, whatever you inhale, goes through two major security systems. One is the nose, obviously, if you're a nose breather, and the other one is the last, let's say, fortress is the voice box. And the voice box is very, very sensitive to anything. I mean, everybody who ever choked a piece of chicken or whatever, or any food, knows how really bad, how severe this feels if you got that in the wrong direction. And so the voice box is the last one who makes an immediate cough to get it out. And this cough is one of these basic reactions which come directly from the brain, from the center of the brain, and go through the phrenic nerve, and that's a very strong push of the diaphragm, which is extremely strong, actually. It's very, very strong, and it is strong enough to push out anything that is in the bigger pipe systems of the lung, and obviously also sitting in the voice box. So now you can imagine that tiny little bit of swelling can already cause the urge to just clear the throat.
Yes.
And maybe that's the underlying cause for that, but needs to be found.
Yeah, absolutely.
I need to look at it.
Yes, and that's why when I notice these things, and it would be not just working with somebody for one session, it would be repeated that they're constantly having problems. And then I'll ask them specific questions, like if you wake up in the morning, do you feel it takes quite a while to get your voice into a free speaking state? You feel in the morning you're very croaky as if you've been to a bar the night before, and it takes you a long time to get that voice back. Or these breaks that I hear people having, but it's not related to, this is just my style, or this is just a habit that I formed, or a fear that I have of crossing cross registers. So then I will send somebody to you. Let's say when somebody then identifies, I need to go and get this checked, what sort of tests are you going to do? What can they expect?
Yeah, we go through the normal basic ENT examination, which includes basically everything. ENT stands for ear, nose, and throat. So the nasal passage as well as the ears and the throat. We look at everything, or ENTs look at everything, and get some kind of a rough picture if there is, let's say, inflammation in the nose, if there is a retraction of the eardrums visible, or some hearing problem, or if there are signs of snoring or of breathing difficulty or of dryness inside the throat. And also if there are any lumps on the neck, for example. So this is basically what we do as a basic examination, and also we check the lung if there's any ronky sound in the lung.
Okay.
And once this is already, let's say, the first impression, from that first impression, I would decide where to go further. So further investigation can be just a nasal endoscopy, and maybe I find polyps in the nose or some pus, or I find signs of post-nasal drip already. Maybe that was already indicated before when I looked in the throat, and maybe then it's better to do an endoscopic investigation of the voice box.
Yep.
So usually we investigate the voice box with just a mirror. Yeah, we hold a mirror in
I
the
remember
throat, pull the tongue out, and you can nicely see the entire picture of the voice box.
You still do that because
Absolutely, because this is part of the basic investigation.
yeah,
actually,
interesting.
yeah?
Because when I very first saw an ENT for my voice, I was struggling with my voice 20 plus years ago.
Really?
They did it with a mirror. But I didn't realize that that's something that you still do because, of course you can
sure.
see. But obviously it's not going to give you as much detail as if you go in
Well,
with a scope.
the mirror gives us not so much detail because people will not usually, and especially people with some problem, they will not tolerate that mirror in the throat for longer than a fraction of a second.
Pull that tongue out.
And then you need to know what you're looking for. So you just look at the picture, yes or no, and that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, you know. And if it's a yes, for example, you see some redness and swelling, then you suggest maybe an endoscopy. It doesn't mean that every patient needs to undergo endoscopy straight away.
Yeah.
You could start with some, if you, let's say a patient has a voice problem and I can also hear the voice problem, and I investigate with the mirror in my general consultation, and I see there is no redness, there's nothing substantial, then there's still a big question mark. So I need to look further. That would be an indication to go further and suggest to check it with a laryngoscope.
Okay.
Yeah, that is a rigid endoscope with a 70 or 90 degree angle.
Yep.
Better with a 90-degree angle, better a little bit bigger so that you get a high definition, clear picture. Or which is more convenient and gives me a longer time to observe the entire region, would be a flexible endoscope.
So that goes through the nose.
That goes exactly.
And then down through the back
Yes.
where you can then see everything, but the patient can still create sounds
Yes.
while you're doing this
It is
investigation.
it's really not painful at all. It's a little bit strange
Uncomfortable.
feeling to have that, like the COVID test, like this, having this stick so deep inside the nose and in the throat nearly, yeah. But this would be only indicated if I really don't find anything and I have to look a little bit more thoroughly.
Okay.
So let's say I find something already with the initial investigation, I would put the patient on the medication, against, usually, a redness or swelling is always a sign of inflammation. Inflammation is usually an infection or allergic reaction. And if it doesn't go away, then we have to look further.
It can also be caused by stomach acid.
Sure.
Yeah. Which a lot of people have, but they don't even realize they have it until something like this is investigated.
This is my favorite point.
Okay.
This stomach acid, there is a big myth around this. People think that this acid reflux laryngitis. Laryngitis means inflammation of the larynx, of the voice box, and obviously that changes the voice. Yeah. And we will see a swelling at a certain region, which is more behind the voice box, where the end of the esophagus is. And then we know there is acid reflux irritating the voice box. But people think that this comes from the stomach, or that the stomach is the problem, and then they take proton pump inhibitor tablets. Yeah, there are some famous names. Yeah. And these tablets, they reduce basically the amount of acid in the stomach. But the problem is not the amount of acid. The problem is, in 99% of the cases, that the patient, when they are sleeping, suck up the acid. So if you, let's say, if you have a certain lung capacity, let's say you have a certain volume of air that you need to breathe within the next half minute. Yeah, half a minute is, let's say, three times breathing in and breathing out, and by then you should have inhaled and exhaled 15 liter of air.
Okay.
So let's just assume that, yeah. And after 3 breaths, you are short. You are not reaching the 15 liter. You have inhaled. Your nose has delivered only 8 liter. Yeah?
Okay.
Then you are 7 liter short, and the equivalent of these 7 liter is, like, let's say, accumulated as a vacuum in your throat.
Okay.
And that vacuum sucks, because you're lying. With every breath, it sucks the acid a little bit higher, and it comes step by step. And maybe after 2 minutes of breathing, or maybe after 5 minutes of breathing, it comes so high that it reaches the voice box. So this is we call this hypopnea.
Never heard this, so I've learned something.
Hypopnea is when we are not really sufficiently breathing, and during that time, so eventually, maybe it's after 5 minutes. After 5 minutes of not sufficient breathing, the acid has found its way up to the voice box, and then usually, I mean, in the worst case, people wake up with a cough. Yeah, or they cough in the middle of the night, because, of course, as I told you, the voice box is very sensitive.
Yes.
And extremely sensitive to the acid. So what happens is,
Yep.
or maybe it's like this, yeah. So it's this kind of
I don't want to
arousal
say I've
in the
heard that
night.
from my husband.
And the funny thing is, most likely, if you do this night by night, year by year, yeah, you suck the entire stomach through the diaphragm, and then you get a hiatus hernia with a permanent acidity. So people often, I would say, from my patients, especially the younger patients, they are totally surprised. How comes I have acid there in my voice box? Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know about this. I never have reflux or anything.
Yeah.
Coming back to the beginning, what helps is, right, as you rightly say, antacids. Antacids are actually chewing tablets, or it's like a powder.
Or syrup.
Yeah, or it's some whatever, some stuff that buffers the pH of the acidity of the acid from the stomach, which has a pH of 2, and it buffers it to a normal level so that it won't harm your mucosa in the esophagus, but also when it reaches to the voice box, it doesn't harm you.
Right.
And that is the quickest relief.
Okay.
And another relief would be to open the nose for proper breathing.
Okay.
So obviously you need to look, why do you not breathe the 15 liter? Why do you breathe only
That makes
8?
sense, yeah.
So why are you having this hypopnea? And that is usually, or in most of the cases, related to a problem in the nose. Can be also a problem further down. Further down means mesopharynx, hypopharynx. I
Right.
don't know. I mean, I can explain that as well, but that would be probably too boring.
Perhaps it's a
just
little
like-
bit too much. I understand those terms, but
Yeah,
not
but so
necessary.
further down the road,
Yeah.
from the nose, from the nostril to the lung. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's probably it. No, I spoke too much, and I need to.
No problem. So ENT specialists, many of them specialize within the ENT, even though you are a full-rounded, you can manage all areas of ear, nose, and throat. But I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, one of your specialties is the rhino, the nose area.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yes, you're right. I'm mainly interested in the breathing. Let's put
Right,
it
okay.
like that. So for me, recently I discovered that there's a big misunderstanding also amongst my college about the nose itself. There is much more physics involved, and there is much more importance involved with regards to the nose. To put it in a short sentence, the nose is actually our extremely highly guarded security entrance to the lung. If you look at yourself in the mirror or at myself, then you see a person with a body surface of 1.7 square meter, yeah, and that is basically my contact to the environment. We are swimming in a pond of air, yeah, basically like diving in air, yeah, in this gas here, yeah, which is called the atmosphere, yeah, and we are swimming through this, and our contact surface is the skin. But as soon as we inhale, as soon as we start inhaling through these tiny little nostrils, yeah, the contact surface is multiplied because our lung has a surface of up to 100 square meter. Yeah,
Really?
and the lung itself is extremely sensitive because it has the special function of extracting oxygen from air, and it requires a lot of surface to extract oxygen from the air, and therefore the surface is mainly used for this particular purpose and doesn't have so much defense ability or other abilities. And definitely it needs to be very open. We were just talking about mucus, so on. Yeah, mucus in the lung would not be so good. Yeah,
No. Right.
the bronchi have the mucus, but at the end, the alveoles, the little bubbles in the lung, they should have a surface that has some other substance that enables the oxygen extraction. So this is this super delicate surface that we have. If we would hang that out like a sail in the wind to extract the oxygen, yeah, it would be exposed to everything that's hovering in the air. And if you examine, let's say, 1 cubic meter air, you will find so many millions of particles or thousands of particles in it that could be potentially harmful. Yeah, if someone sneezes, for example, if I sneeze and it comes to you, yeah, definitely it will come to you. It goes like 7 meter. Then breathing through your nose will be helpful for you because the nose will detect what was in the air.
And filter it.
Not filter it, will just prepare the immune answer.
Okay.
So your body will then produce already from the signal that you get in the nose, will produce the right antibodies that are circulating in your blood, and through the blood they come also to the lung, and then they protect the lung. You know? So you have to have the contact first in the nose, and the nose is basically this kind of security. It's like a bank, yeah. Basically, your most precious part of the body, the lung, needs to be protected,
Yep.
and that's what the nose does. Like an entrance where you have to swipe a card or so.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, and everything that passes through needs to swipe the card.
I don't know if you remember, but you operated on my nose.
No way.
You did, yes.
Really?
Yes.
I forgot that.
You forgot that, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, that was the very first contact that I had in getting to know you. And then from there, we talked about, we have connections with what we do. And then we supported
very
each other
long
going
ago,
back. Yeah, but in my case, I was getting a lot of infections and I was constantly having to take antibiotics. I was getting sinus and it couldn't clear and it was repetitive. It was chronic. And then you discovered that on one side I was not open enough. And so you went in and put a little balloon back then.
It was balloon sinuplasty. Yes.
Yeah. And opened it all up. And that was 15 years ago, and I've never really had problems again since. So.
Oh, thank you so much, Lisa. This is so nice to hear that.
Yeah.
Crazy. I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
You know, I forgot that completely.
Yeah, no,
but
that's
most
okay.
of my
You had so many
balloon
patients, but- yeah.
balloon sinuplasty patients, this is just such an in and out procedure, so easy, and there's not much fuss around it. That
Right.
it's it's very good. Thank you. Thanks. Good to hear that.
Thank you.
But septoplasty came more to my attention in the past years. So because we, for a long time, and also DHA does not really approve septoplasty as a
What is septoplasty?
legitimate surgery. Septoplasty is straightening the septum.
Okay.
Now, the septum is the wall that is between the left nose and the right nose
Okay.
and separates the two noses. That's why it's called the septum. Yeah? And this wall is mainly cartilaginous. Yeah? And now, if that is not straight in the middle, then we have a narrow nose and an equally wider nose. And then physics plays a big role. If you have that, you just need to imagine you drink with a thin straw and with a straw that has a big belly. Yeah. So the thin straw, if you imagine, you drink water with that. Yeah. You just do a little bit, and it comes already up. Little water, very fast.
Yes.
Yeah. Whereas with the thick straw, you have to suck a
harder.
lot, work hard. Yeah. Apply a lot of pressure in order to elevate the water through the straw. And if you do that with both at the same time, it doesn't work. Yeah, you would literally choke the water from the. So, and the same happens in the nose, because we have only one windpipe and we have the two noses. Now, if the septum is deviated, then we have literally the narrow side as the benchmark.
Right.
Narrow side dictates which pressure we can apply.
Yep.
And how much air we can breathe. And this is the point where the other side, or where our body is somehow intelligent, there is a structure called the turbinate. And the turbinate can be inflated with blood. And by inflating it with blood, the space in this big belly of that bigger side can be reduced on the other side. And through this swelling, we get then equal flow in both sides. So we get at least double the benchmark, but it's still a hypopnea. But just what I wanted to say is that putting a septum straight and in midline makes so much sense, much more sense than what many colleagues of mine do is the reduction of that turbinate, which is just trying to equalize the flow. Yeah,
right. Understand.
And I've just come across a lady where the turbinate was partially removed, and now she's suffering from bad side effects with that. Yeah,
right.
So this is the nose, but we wanted to talk about the voice.
Yeah. All right. Getting back to the voice. When you notice somebody has, let's say, inflammation, and you are able to tell there's nothing really wrong with the vocal cords themselves, but they are irritated. And then for you, then it's a clear indication that it's something else. So when would you make that call to then send that person, let's say it's a singer or a professional voice user who I was calling out to earlier on, when would you make that call that they need to either go for a therapy or they need to see a voice coach?
If there is the nodule already, it's better to remove the nodule, because we will not know directly from it's a big one. Yeah?
Okay, a nodule is a small swelling.
A nodule is a small one. Okay, let's say there is a small nodule, then we would observe it and we would send to the voice coach, and the voice coach would then probably interfere, and maybe the nodule will go back. But the chances are relatively little, because it's already there, and it's already irritating the vocal cords.
So there are soft nodules and there are hard nodules.
Yes, I agree. I know. I can see from your face
because
already.
I've had so much success in helping people to get their voices back.
Because early detection. Yeah?
Yes.
If it takes a while, so I'm just thinking of a friend of mine, an Emirati friend of mine, who had a big nodule. And that nodule was removed by my colleague, and it was examined and was clearly due to the use of his voice. But it came also back, and he was complaining why, and he was very unhappy with the result of this procedure, because his voice stayed like this, and
he kept doing the same thing.
We looked at him with a team of 3 doctors, and advised him to have voice coaching, but he wouldn't go for it.
Right.
And I think the answer to your question was already in your question. If it is somebody who's using their voice professionally as a singer, or as a voice coach, or
A speaker, a teacher, anybody. Yeah.
Well, the teacher, I would say the teacher is usually not in this field, because the teachers, they once they know it's this, they are usually fine with that. Yeah. Somebody who needs to professionally use the voice quality. Yeah, let's say advertisement speaker or somebody.
Okay,
like
voiceover artist or TV presenter, speaker,
artist,
singer, where your voice is your money.
Yeah, exactly. They are mostly motivated to do that. And then the second big group is children. Yeah,
I'm shocked how many children have come through you to me, or come to me and I've sent them to you because of vocal abuse. Because they have ended up with swellings, nodules based on the way they shout in the schoolyard. They try to sing and try to copy their favorite artists, and their voices are not yet developed enough to be able to sing that range, but they're screeching and trying to get to those notes, and they end up with vocal problems.
Yeah, I'm sure you have seen lots of these cases.
Absolutely.
I think, yeah, because I remember when we first met, you were helping young singers to
develop their voice.
to pursue their career wish. Yeah.
Yes.
And it is so important that they step forward carefully with their development, that they do not go too fast.
Yes.
To achieve something.
And a voice in those early years is still growing, it's still changing. So as a voice coach, I know I have to be very careful with how I work with that voice. Anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking that initially, I don't know if it was before the recording, we were talking about the voice, that it's really an instrument. It's a music instrument, yeah, which we are using for communication.
Correct.
And this instrument, I mean, it's like you can touch the piano like ding, yeah, like with the right timing and feeling, and you can create also a very strong sound, yeah, without hammering with the entire arm on the piano,
yeah.
And this is same with the voice, yeah.
Yep. That's what I teach. I teach because even people, who are using their voice, but they are not trained, they're not singers, they're not being trained in voice production. They don't think of the voice as a musical instrument that you have just identified. But when I'm working with people, it's all about your pitch, how high, how low do you use your voice when you're speaking, and then how fast do you speak, how slow do you speak. It all connects with music and rhythms, and then volume or even softness can change the mood, the feeling, the emotion. And even tonality. I mean, we didn't even get into tone in a voice, characteristics of nasality, nasalness, hyper nasality, and what the causes of that could be. A whole nother podcast. We'd have to get you back. Because
I mean, for you, and for me also, for both of us, it's a lifetime topic.
Absolutely, yeah.
And if we wanted to bring that all to your audience, it would be probably also a lifetime topic. And I'm just thinking,
hours.
Many of our body functions, the vocal cords, they function as a communication, helping us to communicate through distances. Yeah. So if you cannot see me, if it's dark, if you're far away, we cannot touch each other, then we have nothing else but the voice to talk or to communicate.
Yes, yeah.
And like birds sitting in a tree, yeah?
Yeah.
And then, but we also, for example, I was just thinking of dancing, yeah? Like ballet dancers, how they develop the joints and the movements of the body, yeah?
That's a good
like
example.
It's the same how you can you can be a perfectionist with the voice, you can be a perfectionist with the movements,
yes, yeah.
Maybe even with the brain functions or with whatever, yeah.
It is all interconnected. So it's a muscle. We're training it.
Yes.
and stretching it and giving it more flexibility, versatility, strength, agility. That only comes with training, and just like a dancer, or even just like going to the gym and building your muscles, you have to do repetitions.
Absolutely.
In order to reap the benefits.
And I think you need to, like when you go, let's say you go to the gym and you just do some weights or so, you could probably destroy your body.
True.
Yeah?
Yes.
You could destroy your spine, and it is so important to be coached. In the gym.
Yes.
Yeah. And for the voice, I think it's the same. Yeah. So I think people really, if they value their voice a lot, they should
get support.
I think.
Learn to use it correctly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's also why we have this long connection, actually.
That's true.
Because I don't know many people here in Dubai who do it in the way like you do it.
Yeah.
So there are other people who have more like the children approach. And then we have also a problem in Dubai that we have so many different languages.
Yes.
And obviously speaking is with the language. And Arabic is probably completely different. And I must admit that I'm not aware of good voice coaches in Arabic, but maybe somebody will tell me, maybe you know one. Yeah.
There was
because
one.
it would be actually good for me to know. Yeah.
I had a connection with one some years back, but right now I'd have to find that connection. But I do believe there is one person I've heard of who is very good. But for me, the fundamentals cross all languages: how you position vowels, where you breathe from, how you support the voice. That's irrespective of language. And very often, yes, languages can position sounds differently in the mouth, either back or frontal, because different languages have sounds that other languages don't have. But the basics will cross all languages.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. And especially I think, well, there are also languages. You know, certain people, when they speak in English to me, I do not understand. Because they have a very fast way to put the syllables together. And that comes from their mother tongue.
That's right. Yeah.
And the speed, in my eyes, for me, the speed is one of the main things. So there are some people, I follow some YouTube channels where I put it always on ×2.
Yes.
Because
they speak so slow.
Because it's so I can't follow them if it's too slow.
Yes. Yeah.
And then there are other people where I put it on ×0.5 so that I can enjoy listening to them.
That's
better.
interesting. That's really
it's
interesting.
It's a good option, by the way. You should try that. It's really good.
Well, I often speed up just because I want to get through it faster. But often you're right. If you speed it up too much, you get to a point you can't understand them.
Yeah.
But some people sound just right at 1.5.
Yes. Yes.
But other issues, we're going to have to wrap it up, but other issues that I notice are also just speaking through a closed mouth, not allowing the sound to come through because they don't articulate, they don't open their mouth. So clenched jaws. Oh my gosh, there's so many areas of speaking and voice.
What would be the reason for that with a clenched mouth? Is it shyness?
It can be shyness. It can be insecurity, lack of confidence. It can come from how you were taught, the influences that you had in your own upbringing, that maybe your mother was also very soft-spoken and didn't really open her mouth. So you pick up on that by mimicking. That's how we learn to speak, is by mimicking. And, it could be jaw issues, other things which are causing them to clench and create a lot of jaw tension, which is something I work with people on, releasing tension throughout the whole facial area as well. Oh my gosh, Marc, it's so many topics. We could go on for another hour or two just talking about voice.
Yes.
And I think maybe we'll have to get you on for episode number 2 and we
or
can pick up
like
on
that,
other
we
areas.
should just meet and because just so many things come to my mind that I wanted to ask you anyway, but it's for another topic.
Thank you so much for coming in and sharing your wisdom from a medical perspective, because I think that just gives a different side that people don't have that awareness of they feel something, but they don't know, or they get scared even of going and getting a check because they're worried that something sinister might be found. But as you said, in most cases, it's literally something which is an easy fix, either just by understanding the...
Yeah, it's an easy fix, but also an important fix.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's why we are here.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me, Lisa. It was
We'll
very
see you
nice.
soon.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Impact Through Voice podcast. Now, if you've reached the end of this episode, then it means you're enjoying the podcast. So I have a quick favor to ask. If you haven't yet subscribed, please go and do it now and even leave us a review, because it really does help us so much to reach more people and impact more people. And I would be very, very grateful. Now, I love to read all of your comments about the show and what you're enjoying, what you would like to hear more of. So please take the time and go and do that now. When you do that, please take a screenshot and then tag me on Facebook or Instagram. That's Lisa Hugo Official. I'm going to be sure to share your post, and I'm also going to private DM you with a thank you. And it also means you won't miss an episode. And as a subscriber, then you're going to get access to more content that we don't even open up to everybody. So thanks again. And until next time, keep on working towards your goals and making a positive impact on the world with your voice.